Hi Soul Fam, this is Renee Asiri coming to you with this week's Astro Forecast and Energy Update from InsideJobHealing.com. So, are you guys feeling the intensity? It's just been 2 days since Mercury stationed to go retrograde. So for all those Mercury babies, us Virgo, Gemini babies, I know that you're feeling it more extremely than others. People are already having telephone issues, technology issues, things are already popping off. We started the Mercury pre-shadow period on September 6th. So a lot of us started to feel a slowdown in communication, to feel kind of like we're living on an island on our own. And that, a lot of us have felt like not reaching out to loved ones or wanting to kind of keep to ourselves or take some time to self-reflect. And Mercury is a time to self-reflect. Mercury does affect communication, technology, travel, etc., and contracts and things like that. However, what I did notice is that, as somebody who's very sensitive towards the cosmos, and hit me up if you are, DM me or message me or pass this on to any friends of yours that love to hate Mercury retrograde. But we kind of already have been feeling it for a couple of weeks because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, we do feel the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow period a couple weeks before Mercury, and then Mercury proper is 3 weeks, so it's September 26th until October 18th, and then we have the post-shadow 2 weeks later. So with all this communication issues and slowdown and travel issues and internet issues and things like that, a lot of us do take this time to just naturally go inward. So if you have a morning routine like praying or meditation or doing a moving meditation by walking or hiking and things like that, I really highly recommend that you kind of take it to the next level with your spiritual practice. I really recommend that you go inward further because your soul has messages for you, and especially we just had, a moon in Pisces, and so a lot of intuition, a lot of spirituality. There's a lot of messages happening and your soul wants to directly communicate with you. And the only way that your soul can do that is if you take some time on your own, because when we are distracted, when we're shopping, when we're around friends, when we're going to parties or dancing and things like that, that's not where the spiritual growth happens. It doesn't happen when we're happy. It happens when we're soul searching. It happens when we're going through a rough time. That's where the real growth and transformation happens. And especially cosmically speaking, not only are we in Mercury retrograde, but this is not going to be a normal Mercury retrograde. It's really intense because what's happening is that the planet Mercury is activating actually a T-square between the dwarf planet Eris and Pluto. Okay, and Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth and deep transformation, and Eris, which is a dwarf planet, it is the planet of transformation through self-discovery. So you need to discover yourself over the next 3 weeks. And what better time to do that than during Mercury retrograde, because there's a lot of revelations and truths that are going to be revealed. Some truths that are uncomfortable that you don't want to look at, whether it's in your living situation, your work situation, your relationships, your money, financial situations, etc. So we're talking about all the biggies like love, home, and money. And so this is a time to kind of reflect on a lot of these things and say, okay, what truths need to be revealed? What things have I not seen that have been kind of swept under the rug in the subconscious and unconscious? And, it's time to face those truths. And it's not going to be that much fun, but once that revelation is going to come to you, you're going to be able to see, well, okay, so these are the areas that are out of alignment in my life, and this does not bring me joy, so I'm going to release it. And so this is really a time to go inward, to self-reflect, and to really see like what is out of alignment, what is not making you happy, what is not bringing you joy, and then kind of letting go of those things. So it's definitely an intense time for sure, but because Jupiter is trining, even though you have like an opposition with Mars, with Mercury, when it goes Cazimi, but you have also positive aspect, because anytime you hear trine, it's a positive aspect with Jupiter, which is the planet of It's a planet of, growth, expansion, right? And good luck. So these revelations, as hard as they are for us to face on a personal level and potentially on a collective level through the media that's ruled by Mercury, what's going to happen is whenever we do uncover these revelations that we're faced with that we haven't been able to really, say out loud to ourselves or face in the mirror, on an individual and collective level, it is going to be for the highest of good collectively, because you have Jupiter involved in a trine, which means that even though these hard truths have to be faced and they have to be processed, but then we have to take action and get our life back in alignment and remove anything that doesn't give us joy, and that makes us unhappy, and really seek that happiness and joy and alignment that is going to make us feel more at peace with our lives. So no big deal, just a little bit of soul searching. So some things that might help, like I just got back from Scottsdale, Arizona, which was amazing. Drove, Luna and I, my dog and I, she was a big hit there. Did a lot of therapy there, with the collective. And so it was just so nice to be able to drive for hours in the mountains. It was gorgeous. It looked like Colorado, actually, in Arizona when you're coming in from New Mexico. And just to be able to go shopping and just to have some time, on my own to do a lot of soul searching. And so that's kind of what I recommend to you guys, is this is a time to maybe, especially with that Pisces and Neptune influence, we need a lot of rest right now. You might be feeling really tired and exhausted from work or your morning routine. We've been hitting it really hard all summer. So take the time, heal yourself, take the time to rest and sleep. I've been sleeping a ton, been resting a ton. Don't worry about making money. Don't worry about all those things. Follow your intuition. If you need to sleep or rest and take some time off, do that. If you want to take a road trip like I did, that was what my intuition was telling me, is you need to just shut everything off. I literally shut off my phone and just went on the road, and it was like absolutely spectacular. And I processed a lot of unresolved emotions, with Aries bringing a lot of this transformation and self-discovery, made a lot of different realizations and epiphanies, and really listened to my soul. And I just feel like a totally different human. Just was able to transcend so much dark night of the soul. And honestly, like right now is a time for you to really visit with your shadow. And that's really what these revelations are about. The shadow is the unseen, the unconscious things that you don't allow to come to the surface and keep yourself distracted in daily life, and you're just kind of going through the motions. So now is the time to really come to terms with all of the revelations and all the truths that you've been hiding from yourself. And so just recommend rest, relaxation, healing, and take that road trip or take some time off, or and really honestly also I've been doing a lot of cleanup. Like most people that know me is like I have a very, very clean house, very organized house, that's aesthetically pleasing, because for me I need to kind of create a sanctuary for myself. So that's another thing. I invite you to create a sanctuary for yourself, and really just kind of a safe space of refuge, because the world can be so brutal. It's like being a surfer out in the waves and you get slammed by wave after wave. And sometimes you're under the water and you can't see left from right, up from down, and you feel kind of lost in the waves and you can't come up for air. And sometimes it might feel like this over the next 3 weeks because it's such an intense time, and you're going to get hit with revelations left and right. You're going to potentially sometimes I feel like I'm walking through a sandstorm where I can't see in front of me. And it's like, even though I'm someone who prides myself on being very clear and having a lot of clarity, sometimes when I'm going through these transformations and this shadow work and this dark night of the soul, as you're going to be going through, a lot of times I feel kind of lost in the desert, and lacking clarity, and everything is up in the air. And I really think right now as a collective, we are faced with so many uncertainties, and so many things are up in the air, and we're in the unknown, and we're being asked to have faith, trust, and surrender, and really kind of trust our intuition. And we may not necessarily know where it's leading, but we just have to take one step at a time and have that trust. And that's what I believe that the divine guidance is at this moment. And just kind of take a break. Like, it's been so intense for the last year and a half with COVID and all the restrictions and our freedoms being taken away, and just a lot, life has just been really, quite honestly, it's been kind of like a mini hell on this planet. And sometimes we just kind of try to put a brave face and take it on the chin and be like, oh, everything's fine. I'm just gonna wear a mask, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to get the vax. But ultimately, deep inside, a lot of us are feeling frustrated. A lot of us are feeling imprisoned. A lot of us feel like we are not free. And that's really tough for the human spirit. And so it was so refreshing going to Arizona, and, you know, because nobody wore masks, it was super cool. It felt like no, I'm joking. It felt like 2019 where, you know, there was no COVID, there was partying and dancing and live music, and just people were super relaxed and super chill. And sometimes it's nice to take a vacation if you live in a very strict state like I do, like in New Mexico. So yeah, it just was really refreshing to just kind of like forget that COVID exists and actually be a real human being and have fun and dance and party. And so maybe you need that. Maybe you need to go to a less restrictive state, you know, and be grateful that we're not in Canada or Australia, because they're just next level at this point as far as limitations are concerned. So just kind of, you know, listen to your body, listen to your soul, most importantly, kind of hear the messages. And if you don't like what you hear, you have to kind of take some time to process and digest those truths and those revelations, just like I did, and to take action on how are you going to, you know, put yourself and your life in alignment so you can be more at peace and feel happier and find joy no matter what is happening in the outside world. So thank you so much, guys. I love you. I'm here. Hit me up. Please show some support and share this video, like it, follow, and do all the things. So love you guys. Renee is here with InsideJobHealing.com.